All right, y'all. Okay. So next one, I want to watch this, and I think they do a pretty good job at recapping it. So for those of you guys who missed everything else that happened before the trial, we can watch this. LegalEagle does a video about Alex Murdaugh. Shouldn't have testified, and let's watch it. Let's react to it.
Alex Murdaugh convicted after he testified in his own defense. Yeah, the Fifth Amendment exists for a very good reason, and District Attorney Scowell will explain why.
As the trial drew to a close, Los Angeles area double murder expert O.J. Simpson predicted that the Alex Murdaugh jury—
Oh yeah, apparently O.J. Simpson was tweeting about the trial. I'm not really on Twitter, and I don't follow O.J. Simpson, but apparently he was tweeting about it, and he was like, yeah, I think this guy's gonna get away with it.
would acquit the Low Country lawyer of
Really, O.J.? I wonder why you say that.
double murder. It turns out that Simpson's powers of prognostication don't really work for murders he wasn't directly involved in.
It wouldn't surprise me in the least if this guy beats this case.
Also, I thought OJ was in, wasn't he in jail? Is he out now or something? I remember hearing that he went to jail for, I don't know, some crazy shit, like stealing back his memorabilia, is that how you pronounce it? Or something like that. I thought he was still in jail or something. Did I see Alex's new mugshot? Looks so creepy. Is it the one where he's like shaved? I saw that one. Look at the cute little croissant behind Coca-san. Little croissant. It's like 11 to 12 in Louisiana, which is the same as Burger King. Man, I think fast food workers in California get paid like $18 an hour here. Yeah. It sounds like a lot, but not in California. Not, especially if you're living in like big cities. Sorry, if you're living in like the small cities, it should be okay. But like if you're living in like LA, struggle. Don't pronounce the last 3 letters. The GH forgot about it. He did a video. I do not Twitter either. EM is just a nutcase. I like Bruce Rivers. Yes! Dude, I haven't seen Bruce Rivers' analysis on Alex Murdaugh yet, but dude, I bet you Bruce has a lot to say about Alex self-snitching on himself. But yeah, Bruce is funny. He's a cool dude. Who wants OJ's opinion? Yeah, he went to prison for stealing back memorabilia and he did his time. I thought he was still in jail. I didn't know he was out already. This is true. My daughter just started daycare. Oh, I hope your daughter doesn't get sick in daycare. My friend's daughter has been getting sick every month. Like every month. It's crazy. I mean, I guess it's good because it's building her immunity, but she's been getting sick every month. My friend's like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. Oh no, OJ be like, get on my level, bro. Don't get cut.
Juice was wise enough not to testify in his own criminal trial, whereas Murdaugh thought that testifying in his own defense might lead to an acquittal. It's easy to see how he made that mistake.
Wait, why? I think it was a Hail Mary. Hail Mary. I said during the trial, Hail Mary. It was a Hail Mary.
Murdaugh men have been amongst the most prominent lawyers in Hampton County, South Carolina for nearly 100 years. So before I explain why the Murdaugh Hail Mary play didn't work, let's dig into the background of this disturbing case because it is truly bonkers. Lawyers from the Murdaugh family held the solicitor position in South Carolina's 14th Judicial Circuit for 87 years.
Also, I had no idea what a solicitor was. I was like, what's a solicitor? I guess it's just a very fancy southern name for like prosecutor.
In South Carolina, a solicitor is an elected official who serves as the chief prosecutor for a judicial district. A judicial district usually covers multiple counties. It's basically a district attorney, but with a seersucker suit and a southern drawl. Randolph Murdaugh Sr. was elected solicitor in 1920.
Oh man, okay, so dude, they all look the same. Let's keep watching.
And served until he was killed by a freight train in 1940. Now, some people suspected that the freight train incident was a suicide because no one could figure out why Randolph's car stalled on the tracks, but Murdaugh Sr.
That's crazy, right? I didn't know anything about that. I did hear that something happened to his grandfather, or was it great-grandfather? But yeah, I didn't know it was like his car stalled on the railroad tracks and his car got hit. That's crazy. Like, couldn't he have gotten out of the car or something like that? I heard about that. OJ wrote a book, If I Did It, and yeah, he did it. Texas, I like Bruce Rivers too. I like him even more now. I see him throwing AT and his incel fanboys under the bus. Your son was paying me $17 an hour, not workable. If they get sick, they won't get as sick as much later on, is what I hear. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, so I mean, must be good to build immunity, right? It's just a headache right now to have to deal with it. Like, taking the stand could have been, an ego thing, like with AH. Well, AH had to take a stand. There's no way that she couldn't take the stand. She had to take the stand.
Sr. was succeeded by his son, Randolph Murdaugh Jr.
Look, Alec, but bold. But looks just like Alec. He got the jaw and everything.
Known as Buster, who held the position for 46 years from 1940 to 1986. During Buster's long tenure, the Murdaugh family's private law firm flourished in the small town of Hampton, population 2,000, because of a unique South Carolina law that allowed people to file lawsuits against the railroad in any county in the state. The Murdaugh firm is referred to as the house that CSX built because they won so much money suing the railroads.
Oh my God, the railroad company must hate them. Jesus, what else was the railroad company doing to F people over?
Buster was known as a win-at-all-costs prosecutor. The South Carolina Supreme Court reprimanded Buster several times for improper jury arguments during death penalty cases. On 2 separate occasions, 20 years apart, he told jurors that if they didn't impose the death penalty on a criminal defendant, he would use his power as solicitor to release other rapists into the community.
What the heck? Now, he said it was 20 years apart, but like, I want to know exactly on what dates did he say this? How long ago was this? The heck? What kind of closing argument is that? I thought Roddenborn, remember when Roddenborn was saying that like, oh, if you don't agree with Amber Heard, that means you don't believe any victims or something. Fuck, man, he made it so political. And I was just like, what? That's a horrible thing to say for a closing argument. What did he say again? It was like, if you don't believe Amber Heard, then you're hurting all victims that come out or something. I forgot what he said. It was like something so dumb like that. And I was like, huh? But this takes the cakes right here.
He would use his power as that if they didn't impose the death penalty on a criminal defendant, he would use his power as solicitor to release other rapists into the community.
You know, maybe his grandfather, I think this is grandfather, or is it grandfather or dad? I don't know where we're at right now, the family time thing, but seems like his grandfather or dad should have been the prosecutor in his own case. Oh man, that would have been crazy.
Yes, you heard that right. It's hard to imagine a worse thing a prosecutor.
I wish I could get the transcript on that too. Could you imagine the judge's response to that, and then also the their prosecutor, right? The defense's. I want to see what's the defense's objection and reason. I want to see the transcript going back and forth. Sir, you can't say that.
You could say in court.
Objection.
But I'm sure prosecutors have. It's fair to assume that the citizens of the 14th Judicial Circuit just might be intimidated by a man who threatened to turn rapists loose as revenge.
Yeah, that's a weird thing to say. That's not even good or crafty.
When Buster was done, Buster's son, Randolph Murdaugh III, was elected solicitor.
Okay, so this is Alec Murdaugh's grandfather then, right? Okay, and now this is Alex Murdaugh's dad that's going to take over. Oh my God.
And served until 2005. Now we've come full circle. Alex Murdaugh, the now convicted murderer, is Randolph III's son. Alex Murdaugh worked in the family law firm and also volunteered as an assistant solicitor. Alex continued his work.
And because he was assistant solicitor, he had his little police badge thing, waving it around.
With the solicitor's office.
Trying to be law enforcement, trying to scare people.
Until he himself was indicted for stealing from his clients and partners in 2022.
Yikes.
Yeah, we're gonna get there. So here's a question.
Wait, you mean 2021? 2021.
Are the Murdaughs corrupt? Well, there are open investigations into 2 separate suspicious deaths that are linked to the family. In 2015, a high school student, Stephen Smith, was found dead in the middle of a Hampton County road. There were no tire marks or debris that would suggest a vehicle crash.
Yeah, I wonder, did they investigate into the officers who said that it was a hit and run?
At least one highway patrol investigator and the county coroner ruled the death a homicide, suggesting that the body was dumped on the road. A pathologist, however, concluded that Smith was likely struck by a passing vehicle's side mirror.
The pathologist! Who was the pathologist during that time?
Alex's oldest son, Buster, named for his grandfather, is mentioned dozens of times in the 2015 investigation reports. Rumors swirled locally that Buster had been in a relationship with Smith. Alex and his brother Randy visited the scene and were seen going right through crime scene tape. The South Carolina State.
I heard about that. And apparently, I mean, this was in the documentary, so I don't know if it's like considered rumor or not. But in the doc, they mentioned that like Randy. So remember, there was. Wait, I thought it was John Marvin. Oh no, I'm getting the brothers mixed up. Let's rewind it back a little bit. Wait, Alex and his brother Randy visited the scene? I thought it was John Marvin who was at the scene and then offered the Stephen Smith family, their family law firm, to represent them or something like that. It was Randy? Oh, I don't know. I actually don't know.
Rumors swirled locally that Buster had been in a relationship with Smith. Alex and his brother Randy visited the scene and were seen going right through crime scene tape. The South Carolina State Law Enforcement Division reopened the investigation into Smith's death after officers found new evidence during their recent investigations into Alex Murdaugh.
Stephen Smith was killed on Sandy Run Road back in July of 2015. Investigators say his death was originally listed as a result of a hit and run. But his mother has many questions about that ruling. Now the South Carolina Department of Law Enforcement tells WSAB that information from the Murdaugh investigation has led them to reopen Smith's case.
Right? They visit the crime scene of Smith. Why? I don't know. It's weird.
They would not say what evidence led to that decision or whether the Murdaugh family was involved in any way.
The second investigation. In 2018, Alex's housekeeper, Gloria Satterfield, allegedly tripped over Alex's dogs and fell down the steps of the Murdaugh family's hunting lodge.
And again, Gloria Satterfield basically raised like his family, like his sons. So she's been in the family for a very long time.
Alex was the only witness. After she died from her injuries.
So I was a little confused about that too. So like, do you guys know more about the Gloria Satterfield thing? So I remember people were saying that like, oh, Alex claimed that it was the dogs that tripped them, but they think that it wasn't the dogs. So like, how could Alex have been the only witness if he wasn't even there, right? He wasn't there because Maggie and Paul were the one that made the 911 call. So wasn't Alex at work? And then later on, Alex probably talked to Gloria and was like, hey, you know, let's just say the dogs tripped you. That way I can get like life insurance, or I can get the insurance policy. And then if anything happens to you, then you'll be taken care of. Like, I don't know, like, that's just really weird.
Alex,
because we know that he wasn't the only witness. He wasn't even there. People say that he was at the law firm. The only one to say was the dogs was Alec. Interesting. Yeah, because I think... Maggie said that she tripped going up or down the stairs, right? And it was like these brick stairs.
Alex told Satterfield's sons to sue him for insurance money. Murdaugh referred the sons to his college roommate, lawyer Corey Fleming.
Corey Fleming! Corey Fleming is the same dude that showed up with Alex for one of the police interrogation, okay? It was supposed to be an interview, but it was actually interrogation. Sorry, interrogation interview thing. Corey Fleming is also the one that's involved in like, he's also being charged with a lot of financial crimes as well because he was a co-conspirator of Alex Murdaugh. But damn, Corey Fleming.
Fleming. Murdaugh and Fleming collaborated on the insurance settlement, but never told the brothers that they had in fact collected on 2 settlements.
I want to know how much Corey Fleming got out of that. If he got anything out of that.
One for more than $500,000 and another for $3.8 million. Murdaugh knew that one of the brothers, Brian, was mentally impaired and living on an annual salary of $14,000. Yet he watched as a bank foreclosed on Brian's trailer, knowing that a check from Lloyd's of London had already been deposited into Alex's own bank account.
Alec!
Murdaugh later admitted to stealing over $4 million from the Satterfields. When a reporter uncovered the Satterfield settlement, investigators started...
He didn't even give him any money, like just a little bit at all. Be like, oh my God, your trailer's foreclosing. Like, let me help you out. Your mom was such she was such a help to our family. We love her. Like, you don't need to help them at all.
Looking for other irregularities. They found...
Because I think when one of her sons went up on the stand, he was like, how much money did you get from Alec? At that time, 0, nothing, nada, zilch, ain't got nothing.
That Murdaugh was ripping clients off.
Oh my God, look at this graphic of Alex. Who made this? Oh my God, what is that? What is this a picture of? What is this? Does anyone have any idea what this is? What is that supposed to be? I thought it was like, is it a cat or something? I don't know what the heck this is. Buster and Bubba, both chicken killers. I think this one Murdaugh documentary on Amazon that Paul's school teacher said that Paul killed small animals and he was like cutting up squirrel. What? I didn't hear about that. Dead body. Oh, it's a dead body? It is? I don't see it. It's a random otter. It's a sloth. I don't see the body. Like, no, I don't see it. Maybe this is the head right here. I have no idea what this is.
Left and right. Alex Murdaugh's empire of lies started to unravel in 2019. Alex and his wife Maggie had two sons, Paul and Buster. On the night of February 23rd, 2019, Paul Murdaugh and his 5 friends spent the night partying on Paul's boat. All 6 of them were underage. Paul's friends called him Timmy when he was drunk because he seemed to have a vicious alter ego when he was wasted. Witnesses say that Paul
Timmy just sounds hilarious, though. Like, imagine like a threatening person named Timmy.
Drove the boat for most of the night, except for a few
blood
minutes
puddle?
when Connor
Toy
Cook had to
wagons?
take over because Paul was arguing with his girlfriend.
Oh, you think it's Gloria's body? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, actually. It's one of those like ink blots where you just interpret it based on, I don't know, you're self-conscious, I guess.
Megan Dowdy. Paul's friends say he assaulted Megan. The boat later crashed into a piling and they were all thrown from the boat. Everyone survived except for one, Mallory Beach, who was found dead a week later. After the crash, Alex visited Connor Cook in the hospital.
With the police badge thing, oh my gosh. Remember, Creighton showed that one picture, that cringe picture of Alex Murdaugh showing up at the hospital, and what did he have flapping out of his pocket? It was a law enforcement badge. Oh man. So, Mr. Murdaugh, were you wearing this? Well, if I was wearing it like that, I didn't mean to have it flap out like that. What do you mean? So you mean like it could have just like you put it in your pocket and just accidentally flapped out? I mean, it could have, yeah, maybe that could have happened, or maybe I could have just put it that way, but I don't remember. that was so cringy.
Alex tried to convince Connor that Connor had been driving the boat, not Paul.
And not only that, not only did he try to convince Connor, right? Well, I don't know if he tried to convince Connor. From what I remember in the doc, I remember the Murdaugh family called Connor's family and were like, hey, our sons were involved in a boating accident. Connor was driving the boat. But don't worry, I'm here now. I'm here with the kids. I will represent you guys and I'll take care of this. Meanwhile, I don't think Connor had talked to his parents at the time yet. I'm not sure if he did or not. So they were trying to pin it on Connor. We don't know. I mean, I think everyone said that it was Paul that was driving. I don't think any of the friends said it was Connor. I think all the witnesses point to Paul. But
Randolph Murdaugh III, the former solicitor.
Oh yeah, the grandfather. So not only was Alec Murdaugh there at the hospital, but so was the grandfather as well.
Arrived at the hospital and stopped police from questioning his grandson. Alex and his wife Maggie traipsed through the crime scene. Eventually, Paul was charged.
And then also, apparently, Mallory Beach's mom was at the hospital, and I think she was trying to. She came across the grandfather, and I think she was like, "Oh, where's my daughter Mallory Beach?" And the grandfather was like, "Who? Who's that? I don't know who that is." So that was one. And then 2, Mallory Beach's mom and I think maybe the husband too, they were trying to go to the crime scene, right, where it happened, but it was taped off. Law enforcement wouldn't let them through, but they let the Murdaugh family through. And she was like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know, I feel really bad for her.
With 2 counts of boating under the influence with great bodily injury and 1 count of boating under the influence causing death. Paul Murdaugh pleaded not guilty and hired a state senator who served on the Judiciary Committee.
To defend Paul, who pleaded not guilty, the Murdaughs hired Dick Harpootlian, a powerful state senator and a member of the state judiciary committee. Harpootlian's edge is his built-in advantage with the judges, a prominent Charleston attorney told me. An acquittal for Paul could have been placed Cook under a cloud of suspicion and permanently muddy the question of culpability in Mallory Beach's death. I don't know, man. We all saw Harpootlian's interaction with Judge Newman, and it was less than professional at sometimes. There was a lot of outbursts, and it didn't seem like him and, Judge Newman were like buddy buds. It seemed like Judge Newman was just like, oh my God, guy, dude, chill, okay? Chill. Go sit in timeout corner for a second over there.
Committee to prepare his defense. But Paul never stood trial because he was murdered alongside his mother on June 7th, 2021. June 7th was the date when many things in Alex Murdaugh's life came to a head. Jeannie Seckinger, the chief financial officer at Murdaugh's law firm, confronted him about money that she believed he had stolen from the firm.
When Paul got in the ambulance, he told the attendants that Connor was driving. Oh, really? I don't remember that part.
During the conversation, Alex received a phone call that his father's health had taken a turn for the worse and that he was dying in a Savannah hospital. Seckinger stopped.
You would think if he truly, really cared about his family, right? Wouldn't you think Alec would stop what he was doing and go visit his dad at the hospital? That's one. But maybe, he was busy with other things, Maybe there's other things going on with his life. But remember the group text that was sent out by one of the Murdaugh brothers was like, hey, dad's in a hospital. Let's all go visit, blah, 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 and all that stuff. And that group text wasn't even read. I think it was only read by Maggie, but not by Alex until the next day.
After questions, so he could go deal with his father. But a short time later, she realized Alex remained in the office.
Yeah, he didn't even leave to go see his dad at the hospital. So she stops talking to him. She stops questioning him. And then she realized, wait, what the heck? Because I think she ends up leaving the law firm, right? She physically leaves the law firm. And then Alex calls her about some forms or something. And then she's like, wait, you're still at the office? I thought you were going to go visit your dad at the hospital or something like that.
That check never even came through our books. He stole it, endorsed it, and put it in his Bank of America account. And we found a copy of it on his desk.
He asked
That too, yeah. Mallory Beach's mom said law enforcement never been called. That was messed up. Yeah, that's what she said. I was like, no one ever contacted you at all? What?
her about his 401k balances, which he was worried about producing in the Beach family's wrongful death lawsuit. A hearing was scheduled in that lawsuit that could have compelled discovery of Alex's assets. The Beach family's lawyer said he planned to sue Alex and Maggie personally because they allegedly kept a beer refrigerator at the hunting lodge and underage kids were free to drink up. Given the scale of Alex's financial crimes, discovery of his assets would have revealed years of Murdaugh's criminality. Later that same night, Alex allegedly found Paul and Maggie dead outside the kennels at the Murdaugh's sprawling hunting estate. Alex called 911 shortly after 10 o'clock p.m. He told police that he had just returned home after spending most of the evening out. Police concluded that Paul had been shot at close range twice with a shotgun, and Maggie had been shot with a semi-automatic rifle. The murder weapons have never been recovered. A firearms expert said casings found near Maggie's body were from a rifle round called .300 Blackout. After the murders, Alex told his law partners that he screwed up and would pay back some of the money he had stolen. But by September 3rd, the firm had found more financial irregularities. Later that same day,
Yeah, he was confronted by his brother and the other law firm partners too. His older brother, Randy.
the partners confronted Alex and he agreed to resign. The partners, including Alex's brother Randy, agreed to wait until September 6th to announce the resignation. But the next day, on September 4th, Alex's friend Chris Wilson confronted him as well.
Oh, do you think that he was trying to plan the roadside shooting so the law firm partners would change their mind about announcing the resignation of Alex Murdaugh? It could be one of them, right?
See, Alex owed Wilson $200,000 after lying to him about a legal settlement. So Alex admitted to stealing from Chris and blamed his behavior on an opioid addiction. And then hours later, that same day after that conversation with Chris,
Blaming everything on opioid addiction. Same thing with the reason why he didn't tell, law enforcement the truth about when was the last time he saw his wife and son. Well, because of my opioid addiction, I don't trust law enforcement. I don't know. I was just really paranoid.
Alex was shot in the head. Yes, seriously. Does this seem like a far-fetched Netflix series yet? On September 4th, Alex Murdaugh called 911 and reported that while he was pulled over on the
It would have been better. That's what I was thinking, Wade. I thought he could hire some cousin Eddie to go get some other, firearms. But that's why I think he planned it that day. I don't think he planned it days ahead. I think that day was the day where he just okay, you know what? I'm going to execute them. Yeah. People think that he planned it days ahead and then maybe something finally pushed him to finally pull the trigger. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like he just kind of just planned it that day and he was didn't ask cousin Eddie to get him some firearms and stuff like that. Because it's kind of stupid too. But just because he, we didn't call him a perfect criminal, right? We didn't call him a smart criminal either.
side of a road with a flat tire, someone had shot him.
I got a flat tire, and I stopped, and somebody stopped to help me. And when I turned my back, they tried to shoot me.
Oh, okay. Were you shot?
Man, I wish there was CCTV footage to capture this entire interaction between him and cousin Eddie on this side of the road.
Yes, but I mean, I'm okay.
Alex later admitted that he hired his cousin Eddie to shoot him, so Alex's remaining son Buster could collect on a $10 million life insurance policy. But apparently cousin Eddie wasn't up to the job.
Wait, what is this? Oh, this is not cousin Eddie. Is this from Hot Tub Time Machine or something?
Because the gunshot wound was just a graze that temporarily blinded Alex. Eddie would also turn out to be Alex's oxycodone dealer. Alex later admitted that he stole from his law partners and
Hi, Betty. How are you doing today? Yeah, he had to run flat tires. And people were like, dude, what the fuck? This guy had run flat tires? Like, come on now.
clients to fund his addiction to painkillers. According to Alex, on some days, he was taking up to 60 oxycodone pills.
Yeah, not a smart guy. Like, he should have just been like, yeah, I'm addicted to oxy. I take like maybe like 5, 10 a day. Let's just go with that. But dude, the fact that he's like, no, I was taking like, oh my God, I was taking, what did he say? It was like 40 to 100 a day. Excuse me, Alec? Excuse me?
So here's the house of cards the prosecutors were trying to knock down.
And keep in mind, this is the lie that he crafted while being sober, okay? The dude is just not very smart.
A very influential family headed by a man with an insatiable appetite for pills. The double murder of Maggie and Paul, who were mowed down on Murdaugh family property, the suicide for hire insurance fraud scheme, and, oh yeah, how could we forget, 99 additional charges by the state attorney general for embezzlement, money laundering, and tax fraud. First was the trial for the murders of Paul and Maggie. The trial was fittingly in South Carolina's 14th Judicial Circuit, the very same circuit for which his family had supplied 3 generations of solicitors. The prosecution really wanted to use the suicide for hire plot to demonstrate that Alex had a propensity for violent schemes.
An insurance pattern of behavior.
As the prosecutor said, when the hounds are at the door, when Hannibal is at the gates for Alex Murdaugh, violence happens.
Is that a reference to... Is that a reference to one of the Hannibal movies?
The judge
Not, is it Red Dragon? Or is it the other one?
initially ruled that this incident was off limits for the criminal trial. However, during the trial, the defense asked a witness about whether it was possible that drug gangs killed Paul and Maggie.
Jim, yep. Jim was pushing it a bit, man. He was pushing the envelope a couple times, and then Judge Newman finally lets it in. Rip Jim.
The judge then reversed himself, ruling that the questions opened the door to...
Oh, Hannibal was the general who almost defeated the Roman Empire. Oh. Thank you, Sienna. I do not remember learning about that in history class at all. Yeah, the only Hannibal I know is Hannibal Lecter.
prosecutors introducing evidence about Alex and cousin Eddie, since Alex was admittedly associated with a drug dealer.
Was Hannibal also a cannibal too?
The trial's biggest bombshell was an unsent Snapchat video recovered from Paul's phone. Alex told police he had last seen his son and wife 90 minutes before he found their bodies. He said Maggie and Paul were down at the kennels checking on the dogs. So he took a nap, watched TV, then called and left Maggie a message saying he was going to go check on his mother. Alex visited his mother and then arrived at the kennels around 10, where he found them dead.
Man, I bet you Alex like, damn it, I should have hired someone else to help me with this. I should have done it by myself.
He repeatedly denied being at the kennels before he found the bodies. As it turns out, Paul filmed a Snapchat video just minutes before he was killed, showing a Labrador retriever wagging its tail. He apparently intended to send the video to his friend Rogan Gibson, whose chocolate lab was staying at the Murdaugh kennels. Several witnesses testified that they could hear Alex's voice in the background of the video.
Hey, he's got a bird in his mouth.
Did the Snapchat video influence Alex's decision to testify on his own behalf?
Yes.
Almost certainly yes. The very first thing Alex did on the witness stand was fess up that he lied about being at the kennels.
True.
Alex admitted it was his voice on the video.
Were you in fact at the kennels at 8:44 p.m. on the night Maggie and Paul were murdered?
I was.
Did you lie to Sled Agent Owen and Deputy Laura Rutland on the night of June 7th?
I did lie to them. And I'm so sorry that I did.
Other than lying to them about going to the kennel, I was very cooperative in every aspect of this investigation. Very cooperative, except for maybe the most important fact of all, that you were at the murder scene with the victims just minutes before they died, Prosecutor Waters said. Uh-oh. This admission was just the tip of the iceberg that Alex was about to hit. In every criminal trial, the defendant has a constitutional right to testify or to remain silent. The right to remain silent during...
I love it when they testify, though. Even though Jodi Arias was up there for a long time, I loved that she testified. We got some good clips out of that. The Silence of the Lambs is awesome. Sir Anthony Hopkins owns that movie despite only having 13 minutes of screen time in a near 2-hour-long movie. You know what horror movie is a movie that I can't watch? Gosh, it was Mothman Prophecies. You guys ever heard of that movie before? It's so scary. I can't watch it. I tried watching it when I was younger, and it was just so creepy. I think it's because I also grew up like near Virginia as well. So like, I can't watch that movie. Is that movie really scary though, or am I just being a wuss? It was that movie and The Fourth Kind, guys. Fourth Kind is the scariest movie ever. But then I watched a movie recap on it, and I didn't realize that it was all fake. I thought it was real. What's the human caterpillar? The human centipede? That movie's hilarious. Speaking of South Park, ooh, dude, I hope South Park, I don't know, I love South Park. South Park's so funny. They did a really good job with the Meghan and Harry one, even though I don't hate Meghan and Harry, but it was so funny. It was like on point. I loved it. The Fourth Kind gave me chills. Yeah. So, it's the alien movie. So in The Fourth Kind, Mila Jovovich is the star, right? And what they would do is they would have like old home footages to actually show the recordings of this woman while she was like in therapy and stuff. I thought that was real. She was so creepy looking. Dude, and then I found out at the end that it was all fake. And I was like, what the fuck? I was scared of this movie for no damn reason. I thought it was real. I love Meghan and Harry. Listen, the South Park episode was just really funny. They did a really good job.
During a criminal trial means that the jury is legally prohibited from taking a defendant's choice not to testify into account when deciding his or her guilt. The prosecution can't refer to the defendant's decision not to testify as an indicator of guilt.
Is she Russian? Jovovich. Is she Russian? I can't sleep after a week after watching Candyman. Oh my gosh. That used to scare me when I was a kid. Candyman, Bloody Mary. Like whenever I would go in the bathroom, I'm like, don't look in the mirror, don't look in the mirror, don't look in the mirror. Yeah, I used to be so scared.
Testifying allows the defendant to tell his own story, but he doesn't get to do it unmediated. Mm-hmm. When a defendant chooses to testify, the prosecutor gets to cross-examine that defendant. Yep. It is rarely a comfortable experience for the defendant, and prosecutors love it. A defendant's testimony opens the door to impeachment. Impeachment is just attacking someone's credibility. Impeachment can happen in a lot of ways. For example, being biased or prior inconsistent statements and past criminal convictions. When a person doesn't have a criminal record to worry about or hasn't made any inconsistent statements, then testifying could be a safer proposition. Mm-hmm. Emphasis on the could be, because it's not easy to face cross-examination under any circumstances. Even a defendant with no skeletons in the closet can be tripped up.
I wonder how hard Jim and Harpootlian begged Alec to not testify at the stand. Please, Alec, don't testify at the stand, please.
We've seen some high-profile defendants decide to testify in their own defense to mixed results. Self-defense cases often lend themselves to a defendant's testimony. In those cases, there has to be some evidence that the defendant perceived imminent danger of physical injury, and sometimes it can be hard to show that without the defendant's testimony. Kyle Rittenhouse testified that under the circumstances as he perceived them, he didn't have a choice other than to use the amount of force that he did. Rittenhouse stood up fairly well under cross-examination, and at just 18 years old, he really didn't have much in the way of a criminal history or other impeachable matters. In contrast, Elizabeth Holmes was on trial for defrauding patients.
She didn't testify, did she, Elizabeth Holmes?
Doctors and investors by lying to them about Theranos.
Oh my God, Elizabeth Holmes is just, she's batshit crazy, okay? She's batshit crazy.
This is technology and business relationships.
Fake me out like Steve Jobs wannabe ass.
The subject of her trial was whether she spent years knowingly making false claims. Holmes had already given testimony under oath in civil suits and government investigations.
Oh, okay.
Which made testifying a dicier proposition. During her criminal trial, she blamed other people and claimed that her lies were just misunderstandings.
They're not lies, they're misunderstandings. Not my fault that they took it the wrong way.
When she said she couldn't remember the details of a certain topic, the prosecutor essentially impeached her with testimony that she had previously given to the SEC where she certainly did remember.
Yikes.
And the jury, of course, convicted her. So back to Alex Murdaugh. He's a lawyer with experience prosecuting and defending criminal cases, and also probably a narcissist. So it's not surprising that he thought he could handle himself on the witness stand. Mm-hmm. However, a defendant's credibility is absolutely crucial, which is why prosecutors try so hard to impeach. If the jury thinks the defendant is a liar, things go south quickly. And it seems like that's exactly what happened to Alex. Alex claimed that he told one whopper about his alibi, that he wasn't at the kennels before the murders. But other than that, he was cooperative with investigators and truthful in his testimony. But prosecutor Creighton Waters was able to show a pattern of duplicity. Quote, "The second you're confronted with facts you can't deny, you immediately come up with a new lie," he said. The prosecutor was able to call out numerous lies by Murdaugh. For example, when Murdaugh's plan to get murdered by Cousin Eddie failed, he quickly created an elaborate story. While he was
I knew we were going to see this photo.
recovering in the hospital, he brought in a sketch artist to create a fake picture of the non-existent stranger.
I'm still getting secondhand embarrassment. One of my favorite boredom activities is watching old interviews with Elizabeth Holmes and deepfake. Dude, it's so...
who allegedly shot him. When Alex's brother Randy overheard Alex trying to bribe a nurse to let him use her phone, he thought it was suspicious. And brother Randy called the police, and the story began to unravel.
With a sled sketch artist and
Look at Alex. He's getting it. He's like, oh, fuck. Oh, shit. He's about to ask me about the sketch artist thing.
spent
You deserve this embarrassment, sir. You did this to yourself, okay?
a period of time with her going forward.
And I love how relaxed Creighton just looks while Alex is like,
And creating an image of the supposed assailant.
I did sit down with I was in the hospital and they came in, sat down with me, asked me a bunch of questions.
Okay.
I answered their questions.
okay.
And
Yes, you did. You
it
sat
came
there.
it came up with a composite.
It came up with a composite. I like how he tried to skim through that. Yeah, it came with a composite. What do you mean it came with a composite? Didn't you mean to say that you gave the sketch artist explicit details of the man who supposedly shot you in the head on the side of the road? And he looked like this. Are you not embarrassed, sir?
Sat there and answered their questions just as effortlessly and convincingly as you've been trying to do for the past 2 days. Isn't that correct?
No, sir, that's not true.
The prosecutor also showed
Sorry, you
that
probably
Alex
like
would
gulp.
say whatever was necessary to help
throat
his own
keeps getting
case.
dry.
Alex told the jury that when he found the bodies, he didn't check their pulses before calling 911 because there wasn't enough time. But in an earlier statement to police, Alex claimed that when he found his family murdered, he checked their pulses and then dialed 911. The prosecutor's reconstruction of the timeline revealed that only 20 seconds passed between the time Murdaugh parked his car at the kennels and when he called 911.
And then when one of the attorneys, I forget what his name was. It was the guy, the mad attorney for the defense. What's his name again? Oh, I forget his name. The one with like he had really nice dark hair, dark facial hair as well. And he tried to demonstrate on the stand how long 20 seconds was. But when he did that, I was like, I don't know, man. That went by really quick. I don't know if that was a good demonstration.
So as soon as Alex was confronted with the seemingly impossible timeline, he came up with a new story.
Yes.
The prosecutor asked Alex
Yes, Mr. Barber. Yes, thank you, Holly. Mr. Barber.
if he killed his wife and child. When asked if he knew who did it, Alex also said no. But in an earlier interview with investigators, Alex had actually implicated his groundskeeper. He also told the jury that someone angry about the death
Wait, how did he implement the groundskeeper? I think I must have missed that. I didn't watch all the interrogation videos. Where did he implicate it? Where did he implicate the groundskeeper?
of Mallory Beach committed the murders. These
I remember people floated that idea when the first couple of days of trial was happening. Like, oh, maybe it was a groundskeeper. Maybe it was the sunflower dude, right? Or something.
inconsistencies undermined Alex's credibility.
Yes.
Then there's the mess with Alex's financial crimes.
Ugh.
The prosecution argued that Alex's financial crimes couldn't be separated from the murders because exposure of his vast financial crimes was one of the motives for killing Maggie and Paul. The defense countered that the financial crimes had nothing to do with the murders and that the prosecution lacked proof that the two were related in any way. During direct examination, Alex explained that he committed a lot of financial crimes because of his drug addiction.
Wait, no way. Tam says he said the groundskeeper was the ex-CIA guy who killed the What? That wasn't an interview? I did not catch that. In the car interview, the Black Panther dude. What? Oh, I didn't watch that. Oh gosh. Yeesh. Okay, I totally missed this. I was reading the chat right now. That's a creepy scene. I used to be able to do the crab walk when I did that. I walked to my niece's room while wearing a creepy mask the wrong way around. She was only 4 years old. Dude, my aunt used to do shit like that to me when I was young. Oh my gosh. She used to scare the crap out of me. I literally thought my aunt was like a vampire. She would have these fangs and she would do this really scary face thing. Oh God, it reminds me of like one of those tychos. So creepy. Don't forget the infamous low country dwarfs as suspect. 22nd one meant it went so fast there's no possibility he checked them both and tried to pull the son. Or because Maureen, Alex's lawyer tried to show how long 20 seconds was. Like, oh, this is 20 seconds and it's possible that Alec could have saw what happened to his wife and son, checked their pulse, and then ran back to the car and called 911. It's like and then when he did the 20 seconds thing on the stand, I was like, that wasn't very long. But yeah, the groundskeeper, man, you never know where they come from. He also blamed it on the boat. Yeah, I call it the boat people. The boat people, the internet people.
Murders, and that the prosecution
the randos
lacked proof that the two were related in any way. During direct examination, Alex explained that he committed a lot of financial crimes.
Yep, he had a script that he read out that was really annoying.
Because of his drug addiction. Alex's lawyers portrayed the admission of wrongdoing as a willingness to come clean.
Nope.
They argued that a person who admits to lying isn't necessarily a person who commits violence, which is true in a general sense.
But not in this case. In this case, he decided to come clean about things that were, less severe than what he's initially being accused of, which is the murders, right? So, yeah, you come clean on some things doesn't mean that you're going to come clean about everything. You can pick and choose what you come clean with. And that's what he did here.
However, was it a good strategy in this particular case to admit to years of financial fraud?
Yep.
Not really. On cross-examination, the prosecution scored several key points. Prosecutor Waters held up a stack of papers relating to clients whom Alex stole from. Quote, every single one of these,
Yikes.
You had to sit down and look someone in the eye and convince them that you were on their side when you were not, correct?
Do you remember it?
Yeah, at this point, it was kind of like him and Waters were both on like a, they were both on a script that they were both like repeating over and over again. But the fact that Alec couldn't even name one person that he sat down with and recall their conversation, that was bad. That was bad to me.
Even one of them.
If you ask me questions, but I can't remember sitting down with Dion.
Alex,
I can't remember. There's so many of them. Ha 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 ha.
His response, what I admit is I misled them. I did wrong and that I stole their money. What Prosecutor Waters was getting at was this. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, Alex Murdaugh is sitting there and looking at you in the eye trying to convince you of something, but you shouldn't believe him. Just look at how he lied in the past. Moreover, Alex testified that all of his financial bad deeds were caused by his drug habit, which was costing him as much as $60,000 a week.
Who put this thing together? Me! That's who!
But maintaining his drug habit and hiding his financial crimes could have motivated him.
Yeah, I wonder if Alec Murdaugh thought he was like Tony Montana in his mind.
To violence, especially since he already admitted to a suicide for hire plot to funnel money to his surviving son. Finally, Alex has now confessed to several of the 99 indicted financial crimes.
Could we get a quote for Alec Murdaugh? I got 99 problems, but blank ain't one. What would be a good quote for Alec for that one?
He's accused of stealing about $8.8 million, including embezzling about $3.7 million in 2019 alone. If he hadn't testified, all of his financial fraud, ripping off disabled clients.
He said the groundskeeper was a Navy SEAL recruit who was hired to kill radical Black Panthers. I didn't watch that. I gotta watch it now.
Stealing money from a dead housekeeper's sons wouldn't have been front and center in this case. After both sides rested, it was the jury's turn to deliberate. And to be fair, there were weaknesses on both sides. The prosecution didn't find the two murder weapons. They didn't have any direct witnesses to the murders, and they lacked forensic evidence that juries sometimes look for in this age of CSI, like a victim's blood on the defendant's clothes. Prosecutors guessed that the pair were killed at around 9 p.m., but they couldn't pinpoint a time of death with certainty. The alleged motive could also have struck some jurors as kind of weak. While murdering someone to cover up a lesser crime is not unheard of, killing your own wife and son over some financial crimes, it could be a bridge too far. And since the prosecution claimed that cousin Eddie...
Oh God, they put a side-by-side picture. Real life cousin Eddie, don't feel too bad. At least you got that sick eyebrow you got there.
left drugs for Alex near the kennels, the defense speculated that Eddie or Eddie's dealer friends may have been the real culprits. But these gaps in the prosecution's...
Someone did mention, though, that they feel like the Cousin Eddie sketch kind of looks like Connor Cook. Let me pull up Connor Cook really quick. Connor Cook Murdaugh. Where's Connor Cook at? I'm trying to find a picture of Connor Cook. Connor! Was it Connor? Who am I thinking of? Is it not Connor?
Eddie left drugs for Alex near the kennels, the defense speculated that Eddie...
Oh, Anthony. Not Connor Cook. Anthony Cook. Anthony Cook. Is it Anthony? Oh, this guy right here. Anthony Cook. I don't know. Someone was like, maybe Alec was trying to frame Anthony Cook for everything. Because Anthony Cook could make a good, suspect for the murders of Paul, especially, right, because of the boating stuff. But, yeah, here's Anthony. Got a little bit of facial hair right there, But maybe Alec made him a little too Latino looking.
or Eddie's dealer friends may have been the real culprits. But these gaps in the prosecution's case are to be expected. Slam dunk prosecution cases often don't go to trial. And whatever weaknesses the prosecution may have had, the defense had vastly more. Alex said all of his bad deeds were caused by his drug habit. But maintaining his drug habit and hiding his financial crimes could have motivated him to violence, especially since he already admitted to a suicide for hire plot to funnel money to a surviving son. The Beach family's lawyer, Chris Tinsley, testified at trial that he intended to sue Maggie and Alex personally, which could have resulted in a huge verdict that would have destroyed their wealth.
He gets up close in my face and says, "Hey, Bo, what's this I'm hearing about what you're saying? If you don't think I can burn your house down and I'm not going to do everything you're wrong, you need to settle this case." I took it as he tried to intimidate me. He didn't intimidate me.
Alec Murdaugh, he's tall, but does he look intimidating to you? I don't know. I think he kind of looks intimidating now because he's lost some weight and his eyes looks beadier. But Alec Murdaugh, when we're looking at the interview photos when he's a little bit pudgier, I don't know. He doesn't look very interrogating. He doesn't look very intimidating. To me, my impression of Alec initially when I first saw him was he looks like it just looks like a goofy, kind of dumb old dude or something. He doesn't know what's going on around him,
And
that's what I
sort
thought.
of bully me into backing off.
As for the weapon...
I don't know, man. I guess once the eyes start getting a little beady, it looks a little creepy.
Prosecutors said casings for bullets from a .300 blackout rifle were found near Maggie's body. And the Murdaughs owned a rifle chambered in .300 blackout, and the weapon is now missing. Alex also couldn't account for the...
Right? I'm just thinking about the car interview one. He does not look intimidating, but, maybe the height, Maybe he's at the height, towering over people, make him look monstrous, and get people to back down. Where's the car interview one? Somewhere in here.
Clothing he was wearing on the day of the murders. His clothes have never been found. His mother's caregiver testified that after the murders, Alex tried to remind her about what he was wearing. He also tried to convince her that she misremembered the amount of time he spent with his mother that night.
Oh no, this is two different people. One is Miss Shelley and one is the housekeeper.
He said, "You remember the shirt I was wearing, that Vinnie Vine shirt?" That's what he said to me. I don't remember that. I don't remember.
Also, why is YouTube in light mode? Who watches YouTube in light mode? I'm disappointed. You gotta watch it in dark mode.
Him wearing that shirt that day.
It's hurting my eyes right now.
Alex said he was there for about 50 minutes. The caregiver told the police it was 10 to 20. All told, this is a case where Alex Murdaugh had to take the stand. Alex previously told police that he had not been to the kennels before the murders. The prosecution was able to prove through that Snapchat video that he almost certainly was. Under those circumstances, Alex had to explain the inconsistency himself. His defense attorney couldn't massage those facts or explain them away. Alex had to do what plenty of defendants have tried in the past. I lied about this, but I'm telling the truth about that. By itself, that's not impossible to do. The problem is it opened up everything else.
Oh, true. The lady from the law office. Yeah, Jeannie Seconder. She said that like, oh, what did she say again? She said that like he gave her like an evil glare or something like that. And she's never actually seen that before. I remember her saying something like that.
All of Alex's financial
Bye, Holly.
crimes and the suicide for hire scheme, and his credibility was shot. His testimony ended up sounding like something else entirely. I lied about this, and I'm lying about that. The speed of the jury's verdict, just 3 hours of deliberation after a trial lasting a month and a half, speaks volumes.
Yeah.
The day after the verdict
45 minutes.
was read, Alex Murdaugh was sentenced to 2 consecutive life sentences for murdering his wife and son.
What kind of shoes they got him wearing? Orange Crocs or something?
Rightfully so.
Yeah, credibility in front of a judge or jury is everything. Whether you're a lawyer or a defendant, your credibility is often all you have, and once you lose it, you never get it back. It's been fascinating to watch all the crazy twists and turns in the Murdaugh case, and one thing that has helped keep track of everything is today's sponsor, Morning Brew, because that's
All right, coffee. I don't drink coffee. You know, his background reminds me. Do you guys remember back in the day where there would be like door-to-door encyclopedia people? Dude, I remember we had someone knock on our door and sold us on a bunch of encyclopedias. And they were like pitching it to my mom, like, oh yeah, you know, they're going to be so smart. They're going to read this. We never read the encyclopedias at all. And my mom spent so much money on it. Oh my God. Oh, so crazy. You know, back in the day, we would raise money for like school stuff and you would sell like candy bars and stuff. Man, back in the day, us kids, we used to knock on strangers' doors and sell candy by ourselves. I never had my mom with me. None of the kids in my neighborhood had their parents with them. Isn't that wild? I don't think it's done anymore. My grandparents bought them all. We used them for school before Google. We we got excited about the books and we're like, oh my God, look at the pictures. I remember I was really excited about the biology section, but then like, dude, I only looked at it like once and then never again. I used an encyclopedia like that once. I have YouTube in white mode. What? I'm old school, so watch videos that are limited to 9 minutes, 60 seconds. Good old days. Dark mode all the way. Girl Scout cookies. Yeah. Girl Scout cookies. Oh, excuse me. I feel like nowadays Girl Scout cookies, people, they just like stake out at the grocery store, just sell them there. But yeah, I don't know. I used to be obsessed with Girl Scout cookies. I don't like them anymore. I don't know. They're like to me. I used to love the Samoas. I used to love the Thin Mints. Now I'm just like, Girl Scout cookies are okay. I don't know. I guess my guess would be that Alex put on a rain poncho he had prepared before he took the shots. Makes clean up a thing of seconds or minutes at max. As I got older, wait 8 months for the order to come. Oh my God, and then never give them their order. Yes, I had some friends in my neighborhood that didn't give their orders to the people. I always gave them to the peoples because I felt bad. But yeah, there were times where like the orders would come in and the kids would just keep the chocolate and never give it to the neighbors, but they never tell their parents that they never did it. We went door to door. Yeah, I did too. I went door to door in my neighborhood. Well, at least it was like in my neighborhood, so like you mostly know your neighbors, but that's still kind of like sus nowadays, you know. But I just want to eat cookie dough over cookies. Ooh, I like cookie dough ice cream, but there's this man when I was in San Francisco. There was this like food stand thing, right? And they sold cookie dough, and it was just straight up cookie dough. I'm like, wait, people just eat cookie dough like this? Like what? Just like batches of it? It was like large batches of just cookie dough. I felt like I was eating Play-Doh. Oh no, Don't y'all just wish Paul has turned his camera around for just 2 seconds? Yes, David. Yes. Because I kept watching that kennel video and I was like trying to see, okay, do we see Alex's like what do we see his clothes? Do we see his foot? Like, do we see like a reflection or something? But yeah, I didn't see anything like that. I tried selling Girl Scout cookies, but couldn't get people to buy? What? I think I went too far by wearing the Girl Scout outfit. Wait, why were you selling girls? Wait, were you part of the Girl Scouts? Do Boy Scouts sell cookies or is that just a Girl Scout thing? Anything. Yeah, anything at all. I mean, we didn't need it, but yeah, it would have been nice to be able to see like Alec in the background with a reflection or something, wearing like a different outfit. Or if you see him like tiptoeing, you know, with like the guns or something. All right. All right, guys.